Hey everybody, this is Tim with Op-Ed Daily. I'm here to talk about the warrantless wiretapping, the NSA, because they're supposed to be voting on it when they come back from Memorial Weekend. And Rand Paul, oddly enough, is completely against it, completely against what the NSA has been doing. And he is bucking up against the Republican Party over this issue. And the Republicans are, trying to say, oh, this is how we are going to prevent terrorist attacks. And just want it to go through without any amendments, without any discussion. This is what the Republicans and the government are wanting. But that isn't in line, actually, with some research polls. A Pew Research Center here did a lot of polls. There's a lot of different numbers here, and it's kind of weird. Since 2006, things have flip-flopped. As a self-proclaimed liberal, I would have said that Democrats are more against it than Republicans, and that was the case back in 2006, but it's no longer the case now. According to Pew Research, a majority of Americans, 56% of them, in fact, say that NSA's program tracking telephone records of millions of Americans is an acceptable way for the government to investigate terrorism. Wow, 56%. That is just absolutely ridiculous. And this is, should the government be able to monitor everyone's email to prevent possible terrorism? This is funny because 45% said yes and 52% said no. So they think that it's okay to track calls of Americans. Now, the question here that was posed is, NSA getting secret court orders to track calls of millions of Americans acceptable? 56% said yes. I have to think that a lot of those people are just ignorant to the fact that those secret courts, those FISA courts, are bullshit. I mean, it would blow your mind to realize it was like 0.03% of all cases brought to those FISA courts are ever denied. So, I mean, and a lot of them are just blanket opportunities for being able to track calls. I mean, you do realize that you could be standing next to somebody on the same tower, call them, and it would register in the government as a phone call that goes outside of the United States. Now, I don't know exactly how that works, but Edward Snowden brought that to our attention, that it doesn't matter where you are. If you're calling one person in the United States and you're in the United States, that call can still be tracked because somehow it can make it across the borders and ping a server over there, and then bam, you are now being monitored. And they are all recorded, all of them. They tried to play it off like, it's just the telephone numbers and the length of the call, and different things like that. No, they record everything. People don't seem to get that, but hey, 56% say that's acceptable, but it's less acceptable to monitor somebody's email. Like, what in the hell is up with that? Right here, NSA has been getting secret court orders to track calls of millions of Americans to investigate terrorism. Again, 56% acceptable. What's weird is that it flipped. Okay, January 2006, Democrats, only 37% thought that it was acceptable, the views of NSA surveillance programs. Only 34%, and 75% of Republicans in January 2006 said it was acceptable. Wow. And now, during 2013, only 52% viewed that as acceptable. Now, I'm going to make a speculation here. I'm going to speculate that the reason why in 2013, only 52% of Republicans are find it acceptable what the NSA is doing is because there's a black president. is because Barack Obama is the president. He's, quote, a Democrat, or at least he calls himself one. I guarantee you that's the reason why it's 52%. I would bet money on it. I would bet money on it. If a Republican takes office next time, that number is going to go up. Because then it's not a Democrat looking over people's phone calls. Then it'll be a Republican. Oh, hey, now they're not going to spy on you for no reason. They're only going to do it because, you know, we know Republicans, they're all about personal liberties. Horseshit. As you can see here, 75% under Bush, 75% of them, it was acceptable. Wow, come on, really? You've got to be kidding me. And only 30, and I don't know what the hell this is all. I guess this right here they flopped over because they feel like Barack Obama is going to be less intrusive somehow. Are people really this stupid? Barack Obama is not a Democrat, people. He might call himself a Democrat, but that man is just like George Bush. He's just like George Bush. He works for the same people. He's on the payroll of all of these rich, wealthy people, just like George Bush, Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, and all the rest of those bastards are. You guys cannot tell me that you really think that Obama is going to treat you better than George Bush would. Horseshit. In fact, at least George Bush was pretty open about him being a dumbass. I mean, you can go to YouTube and type in George Bush bloopers, and it'll provide hours and hours upon hours of entertainment just listening to that dumbass talk. So you knew exactly what you were getting. But with Obama, oh, he talks like he's, oh, I am, you know. But then he turns around, lies to your fucking face. He ran on hope and change. And then when he gets into office, he doesn't do any of the things that he said he was going to do. Oh, okay. So he got Obamacare. Wow. Okay, so what he did was he gave a shitload of money to the insurance companies that gave him a shitload of money. Obamacare is the biggest farce I think I've ever seen. Now, granted, there are things in it that I believe are vital to making a step in the right direction, but you cannot fix this healthcare system by using this healthcare system. This whole healthcare system and the way it is built and the way everything functions with insurance companies dictating everything, it's not going to work that way. This right here, this just pisses me off. And this is why I call on people to openly correct the person standing next to you, or openly correct your neighbor or your family member or your best friend. I don't care who it is. When somebody thinks that it's okay for the government to spy on you at any point in time without probable cause, that person is an enemy of this nation. And I say that quite literally. I'm not just being metaphorical here. I'm being serious. This nation was built on dissension. It was built on people wanting to be free from tyranny, wanting to be able to live their lives the way they wanted to live it without the government sticking their hands up your ass and moving you around like a puppet. That's what this country is all about. We cannot be that country if we have 56% of Americans thinking it's okay for the government to spy on us. So the next time you hear somebody saying, oh, I think it's great, you know, I don't want to get bombed by a terrorist, I don't know, maybe you should smack them across the face and then say, oh, hey, did the government stop me from doing that? Of course not. Look how many police kill people every year. Look at how many mass shootings we've had in the last 5 years. Look at how many actual things have gone on, these, quote, lone wolf people. You think all this data mining helped them figure that one out? Of course not. When you just grab everything, you're going to miss most of it. But when you're looking for just very specific things and there's guidelines that you have to go by, and you only look at the things within that guideline, and with probable cause, you're going to catch more of it. And besides, policing does more for us than this foreign intelligence crap that we have nowadays, because we're spending way too much money, way too many man hours on something that doesn't work. In fact, I would speculate that this whole NSA wiretapping thing is a way for the government to sell our information to companies so that they can better advertise to us and sell us stuff that we don't want or we don't need. That's the only logical explanation I can see from that. Now, I wrote an article just a while ago about this on Op-Ed Daily. You should go over and check it out. It's similar to what I'm talking about now, but I've got links to a lot of things that many of you may not know, but you should know. And like I said, next time you hear somebody saying that it's okay for our government to, warrantlessly wiretap our phones, or, turn on our cameras and look at us, or check and see where we're at with our GPS, or any of these things that they do. The next time you hear that, you need to tell them straight up that they are an enemy of this country, because they absolutely are. We're going to destroy ourselves from the inside out because people are too damn scared. What do you think happened to Nazi Germany, people? What do you think happened to them? The Reichstag fire started everything, and here it was September 11th. Is almost like, the whole playbook was redone. But guess what happened in the end with Germany? Guess what happened? Well, I think you already know what happened. And that's what's going to happen to us if we don't stop this shit. I'm sick of it. People are so willfully ignorant in this country. They don't even bother to check information. They don't know half the shit that this government is doing to us under the guise of safety. I'm sorry, but I don't walk around afraid for my life that some terrorist is going to bomb the building that I'm in. I don't. Hell, I'm more afraid of dealing with a police officer in this country than I am of being bombed. So it's unconscionable what's going on here in this country. And seriously, you guys need to let people know whenever you hear it. Because if we shame those that feel that way, that shame and guilt and feeling of being un-American is going to turn the tide, is going to make people stop believing that crap, and it's going to make people start contacting their representatives and telling them to go F themselves whenever something like this comes back up. Anyway, that's it for now. This is Tim with Op-Ed Daily. Peace out.